Hey families, the Michigan Family Wellness Podcast has the awesome opportunity to receive some feedback from our listeners. If you all could do me a huge favor and please take 10 seconds to fill out the online survey, this information will help the MFW podcast grow, adjust, and stay most relevant to your interests, your context, and provide the most value to you and your family. So I've actually included a link in the show notes to an online survey, or you can navigate your web browser to survey.libsyn, spelled libsyn.com/Michigan Family Wellness. Power Performance Gym is dedicated to helping you achieve your best definition of healthy and strong. Power Performance specializes in strength and conditioning for individuals, small groups, and athletic teams, weight and pain management, as well as recovery and nutrition. Every person at Power Performance will be given a full movement and health analysis. This helps build your blueprint for success and ensures that you receive a customized program targeting your goals. Learn more about how Power Performance can help you look, move, and feel better by visiting Power Gym, that's POWRGYM.com. Mention the Michigan Family Wellness Podcast to receive your movement and health analysis as a complimentary gift. Michigan Family Wellness, Episode 35.
Here at Michigan Family Wellness, we believe chiropractic care and nutritional-based therapies are a foundational part of a healthy family lifestyle. No matter where you're at in the mitten, having a family is such an exciting time of life. So instead of feeling overwhelmed by stress, fatigue, and responsibilities with the kids, we invite you to become part of this empowering community to create happy, healthy families. By providing engaging interviews and practical applications, Dr. Wallner cultivates family health by equipping our listeners with the tools they need to elevate wellness in their own family. Dr. Wallner passionately serves the Michigan community at his chiropractic and nutrition-based practice, where he specializes in pregnancy, pediatrics, and family wellness care. And now, here's your host, Dr. Kyle Wallner.
Good day, Michigan families, and welcome to another empowering episode of the Michigan Family Wellness Podcast. My name is Dr. Kyle, and I am the Family Wellness Chiropractor at the Michigan Family Wellness Clinic and your host on today's podcast. I'm excited because today we have an outstanding conversation with Debbie Diehr. But before we get to today's episode, the Michigan Family Wellness Clinic is all about equipping you and your family. We're family-centered here, and when you're the single parent or the stressed-out spouse just struggling to get through each day and take care of the kids and make sure the refrigerator has food and make sure the house is picked up, all while advancing your career and on, we're here for you. What I help most of my patients with is resiliency, and the way I define resiliency is giving you the strength to adapt to the stress in your life. Sometimes we do have stressors that need to go, whether they be something environmental, like a chemical we're being exposed to, or an abusive, toxic relationship, or just the nutrient-deficient food that we eat. Other times the stress isn't necessarily going away, but the way our body is adapting to that stress is not sustainable. I help my patients, many of them mothers, fathers, children, young, old, sick, big, and small, increase their resiliency and equip them with that strength to adapt to the changes and stress in their life. The saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, is absolutely true, and that's why I have committed this podcast and the MFW Clinic to passionately serve this community through integrity, certainty, and authenticity. You deserve the best doctor-patient experience and the best results in the shortest amount of time. So let me be completely honest here, families. I want you to know that I don't have the perfect family and I don't have the perfect marriage. I'm not the healthiest guy in the world. I like to enjoy pizza and waffles every now and then, and let's get real, I struggle with work-life balance. And yes, sometimes my wife and I argue. I'm just like you guys. I'm a normal man, a normal husband, doctor, and provider. The only thing that gives me the authority to speak on family wellness is that my own family isn't perfect. The thing that separates and qualifies me to do this work is that I'm on a lifelong journey to elevate the wellness of my own family. I'm passionate about bringing you the tactical strategies and practical applications, and I'm willing to have the tough conversations and tell it like it is. even if it means that I'm not the best. You know, it's critical we have these conversations because families in this community and communities all over the nation are experiencing the struggles of balancing work, marriages, the kids' school and sports schedules, furthering their own career development, demanding responsibilities, unplanned circumstances, and the list goes on and on. This podcast provides a platform for those conversations and is a great way to let the women, mothers, and families listening know that you're not alone, and hope abounds when we can empower, encourage, and support one another. So if there was a way to elevate your health, your family wellness, and resiliency, would you be interested? If this message is resonating with you, or if you would like to start a conversation about your situation, head on over to MichiganFamilyWellness.com and you can send me an email, schedule a complimentary phone consultation, or head on over to the MFW Facebook page and send me a Facebook message. All right, families, let's introduce Debbie. Debbie is a graduate of the massage therapy program at Schoolcraft College. She is an avid runner and loves helping her fellow runners stay injury and pain-free through her soft tissue techniques and raindrop therapy. Debbie believes a life well lived begins by living well. She helps her clients in their journey to become healthier, happier, and more relaxed. All right, families, let's jump into today's interview. Welcome, families, to the interview portion of today's podcast. My guest on the show today is Diehr. Welcome to the podcast, Debbie. It's so great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to encourage everyone to circle back and listen to episode 32, where we discuss, in general, the benefits and value of essential oils and aromatherapy for elevating your health and family wellness. But I wanted to bring Debbie on the podcast here because she is a local expert, which brings up a great point. You know, knowledge is power. You know, that's one thing, but the real life change happens in the application of that knowledge. So yes, I am very delighted to have Debbie enlighten us on raindrop therapy here today. That being said, we do have two questions that we always ask our guests here on the podcast. Debbie, I've just told our families a little bit about you as the professional, but one of the core values here on the podcast is family. So tell us more about you as the person, and what does family look like for you?
So family for me looks like, I have 4 daughters, and my 4 daughters have given me 7 beautiful grandchildren, and an eighth one is on the way in March. So family means a lot to me. Being connected with my daughters, my grandkids, trying to work with them to keep them healthy. I mean, that's a big goal for me.
That's fantastic, Debbie. Yeah, and I'm just kind of thinking ahead in terms of the conversation that we're going to have on raindrop therapy here. I think it's just incredible what you're able to provide, you know, that family network that you have, you know, in terms of alternative approaches to healthcare, elevating the family wellness. That's huge. I love that. And, you know, Debbie, yeah, another thing I love to say here on the Michigan Family Wellness Podcast is that we are smitten with the mitten. So I always ask my guests to share what they love about Michigan.
Oh my gosh, Michigan is awesome. I love Michigan, just the beauty of it. And you know, people, when they think of Michigan, a lot of times it's so negative because they think of Detroit and all the problems, Flint lately. But Michigan is so vast with its beauty and its lakes and I mean, you go up north and you run across the Mackinac Bridge, and I'm telling you, there's so many things. The Porcupine Mountains, I mean, just everything. I would suggest anybody come visit Michigan and see the real Michigan. Fantastic.
Yeah, we could definitely be here all day talking about so many great and beautiful things about Michigan. You mentioned running, you know, up near the Mackinac Bridge, and I know you're a runner yourself. And just as someone myself, you know, I also love to run. You know, having done the Detroit half marathon and the Dexter Ann Arbor half marathon, you know, running is just one of the great ways to experience this beautiful state. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Fantastic, Debbie. So let's go ahead and get more in-depth, because I really want the women, mothers, and families listening to get value from your experiences, expertise, and unique perspective. So now right away, when someone hears, raindrop therapy, they may be a little skeptical. So typically when someone says, oh yeah, I'm going to the chiropractor for my family wellness adjustment, or, I've got an acupuncture session later on today, I think most people would acknowledge those as reputable and scientifically backed forms of alternative health care. But when someone says, oh yeah, I just had a raindrop therapy session today, they might do a double take, because right away I hear my wife's witty remarks in my head, raindrop therapy, what's that? Is that where you go outside and, when it's raining and, you heal yourself? So, and then I say, no, babe, that's not what it is. It's called raindrop therapy, and then we go into this discussion. So for those of us who are unaware of exactly what raindrop therapy is, go ahead and talk us through it.
Okay. So what the raindrop therapy is, it is massage techniques used along the spine and the bottoms of the feet with 9 different essential oils. And the essential oils that I use are therapeutic grade essential oils. You can't just use any oil out there because, you don't know exactly what's in them. Therapeutic grade oils are 100% pure, and the kinds that I use, you can ingest all of them. So they're very healthy. And what the raindrop treatment does is, the reason why it's called the raindrop treatment is when the patient is lying on their belly, the oils are dropped, and they feel just like, raindrops along the spine. And that's how it got its nickname, raindrop therapy. There's 9 different oils that each one of them do something separate, but together they really work in a great way. So I guess what I'm going to start with is a couple of points about the raindrop therapy itself. It's based on the theory that many types of spinal misalignments are caused by viruses or bacteria that lie dormant along the spine. Mm-hmm. And as you know, Dr. Carl, these pathogens create inflammation, which can contort and disfigure the spinal column. So when all of us are born, when we come out of our mother's womb, we obviously have junk stored in our spine. And in order to get that out, the essential oils actually pull the different junk out of your spine. With the oils that I use, they raise the electrical energies in the body, the frequency, which provides the ability to balance the central nervous system, release or drive dormant viruses or fungus which have been trapped in the spinal cord, trapped in the cells, trapped in the lymphatic system. And when the immune system becomes compromised, they release and manifest into illness and diseases in our body, of course.
Gotcha.
And we want to get all that stuff out. And so oils oxygenate and bring nutrition to cells, and it disposes the petrochemicals and toxins, and they've got the unique ability to penetrate into the cell membranes and absorb in your tissue and bloodstream throughout your whole body within 3 seconds to 20 minutes.
Wow. Debbie, so many great things all at once. I just want to go back and, just kind of summarize what you're saying here. So, and again, as a chiropractor, as, a spinal specialist, I just love, everything that raindrop therapy is able to accomplish. So once again, just for our listeners, like you said, the patient is laying in the face down position on the table. There's no stress on the spine in that position. Gravity is just going through those spinal discs perfectly. And what actually happens, as Debbie just told us, it's not like we're taking these bottles of therapeutic grade essential oils and dumping the entire bottle and, rubbing it into the skin.
Right, correct.
It's that raindrop technique in the sense of you're, specifically dropping the oils onto the spine, onto the skin, maybe doing a light, gentle massage. I think you can, way more about that than I do, Debbie, but, that's to help work that phytochemistry, that biochemistry into the skin, into the spine, to, like you said, remove those toxins, help with detoxification, get all the inflammation out of the spine, because truly, our spine is one of the first places where healing and that signaling of health can occur. Would you agree?
I agree 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
And with each oil, there's a different massage technique used. So it's a massage, but yet it's not, because it involves the bottoms of the feet, like I said, and the spine.
Absolutely. And I love about this, too, is the delivery method. And we touched on this a little bit in episode 32, and I'll make sure I drop a link in the show notes for our listeners with that. But not only are the benefits of that plant phytochemistry getting into your spine via the delivery of the skin with the raindrop therapy, but you're also just getting that natural diffusion. So, we talked about how, there's so many different ways to experience essential oils, which I'm sure you could tell us more about as well. But one of them being is just straight up through the olfactory nerve. So again, essentially what I'm saying is, when you're doing the raindrop therapy, you're also getting the brain benefits of just inhaling that good plant chemistry. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I got to tell you, whenever I do a raindrop treatment on one of my patients, because I'm smelling it and it's absorbing into my hands, I could start out before the patient, arrives, prepare my room, get ready, and kind of be in a kind of mood, After I do the raindrop treatment, I am on cloud 9 myself. I feel awesome. I leave my room feeling like I can take on the world. So whenever I do a raindrop treatment, it's benefiting the patient, but it is also benefiting me, because that's how powerful the essential oils are.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've done a little bit of raindrop therapy and, with myself actually, and to your point too, as the practitioner. So my mother has had a myriad of back problems, and honestly, she felt the best, and she was doing her best when we were able to do that consistent raindrop therapy, and again, back to this whole, people get the idea in their head that, they do something once and then, they don't have to do it ever again. Or like, if they want to lose 20 pounds, they're going to exercise once for 20 minutes. Well, it doesn't necessarily work that way. You have to do it.
Exactly.
You have to make it part of your lifestyle. So same thing with raindrop therapy. I wouldn't try it once and then write it off if, it doesn't, cure, whatever illness or chronic health issue you might have. Furthermore, and I also mentioned this in episode 32, but there is actual research, actual literature that shows, before and after x-rays and imaging of the spine with tuberculosis of the spine, otherwise known as Pott's disease. And then they do these raindrop therapy sessions, and it literally rids the spine of that tuberculosis, of that Pott's disease in the spine. And it's just incredible. And you can see it on the images. And like I said, remarkable, life-changing.
And another, on that same note that you just mentioned, they did research on raindrop treatment for people with scoliosis, and they showed that the scoliosis improved through time. Not huge, but they could definitely see that the spine has straightened. In fact, one of the oils used in the raindrop treatment is Valor, and it's actually a blend of several oils, and it's nicknamed chiropractor in a bottle.
There you go.
Because it has the power to just straighten the spine. So people think it's kind of crazy and don't believe it, but you really need to be open-minded and try it and then see the difference.
Yeah, and that goes back to a point I made earlier. Knowledge is power, but the real life change happens when you actually apply. The application of that knowledge, brings about those significant health changes. And again, there's lots of stuff out there. I'll definitely, concede to that, but there are definitely things out there that are scientifically based, research-based, rooted in neurology, and I think chiropractic, I think raindrop therapy. These are, massage therapy. I know you do that as well. These are great alternatives to help people, elevate their health and family wellness. And speaking of that, Debbie, let's say that, I'm just a regular person, with a family and some kids. I'm not necessarily worried about POTS disease or tuberculosis or scoliosis, but I'm just kind of worried about my kids focusing in school and just preventing them from getting illnesses and, helping them recover faster from injuries and that sort of thing. Does this relate? Does this have relevance for my life? Talk us through that.
Yes, it actually does. With the raindrop treatment, because of what each of the oils do, and I'm going to give you an overall on each of the oils just so that you know what each of them do, and then all together, all 9 of them, obviously with all of the benefits of each single one, just wow. But the different, I'll just give you a couple of examples of some of my patients that have come in. One of the people that I've done raindrop treatment on had really bad, terrible allergies. And he was on, medication from the doctor. And I did the raindrop treatment on him. And I also have him use lavender as well, though. And he has not used his prescription medication in 3 years.
That's phenomenal.
He would get allergies really bad. So if your kids have allergies, I would suggest getting a raindrop treatment. I had a person, I gave the raindrop treatment to him, and I always ask the people, after you get the raindrop treatment, please give me a call in, a day or 2, and let me know how you're doing. And this guy called me and said, Debbie, I went to work the next day, and I could actually think. I mean, my mind was like unfogged, and I felt so much better. So
there you go.
And the raindrop treatment, because our bodies change with the season, it is recommended that we get one every quarter. So every season change, you should get a treatment.
Gotcha. So there's kind of a rhythm there with the changing of the seasons, with our body's ability to detoxify. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yep. So I'll just real quick do a rundown on each of the oils that are involved in the raindrop treatment, just so that you know what they do. So I'll start with wintergreen. And wintergreen is an oil that is close to my heart because the reason I got into the oils in the first place, I went to a health expo, and there was a person there with the oils. And I was very skeptical and closed-minded. And she said, well, do you have any problems going on? And I said, well, I'm a massage therapist, so my elbows are really achy right now, kind of like tennis elbow. And she said, try wintergreen. Rub them on your elbows, and by the end of the night, tell me how you feel. And I'm telling you, my elbows were really, really achy. I was wearing bands and icing and using BioFreeze. I put this wintergreen on, and within 20 minutes, my pain was gone. And Dr. Kyle, I didn't have any pain for like 4 days.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. That's what got me into the oils in the first place. So with wintergreen, it has a high concentrate of methyl salicylate, which has a cortisone-like action to alleviate pain in the bones and joints. So it makes sense. It helped me, It aids in ridding inflammation and increases awareness in your sensory system. Cypress increases and improves the capillary walls, your ATP uptake, and it helps heal emotions. Basil stimulates nerves and the adrenal glands. It helps you maintain an open mind and clarity of thought. Its antispasmodic properties go directly into the nerve centers to help create relaxation. Oregano balances metabolism. It strengthens your vital centers of the body, and it strengthens your feelings of security, and it clears out all of the receptor sites. Marjoram relieves cramps, aches, pains. It's relaxing and calming to the nerves. It warms the body and emotions, and it promotes peace and sleep. Peppermint reduces inflammation. It aids the digestive system. It aids the respiratory system. And studies have shown that it increases mental accuracy. They did studies on at the University of Cincinnati on students. All they did was inhale peppermint oil, and 100% of the students increased their mental accuracy by at least 28%.
I love
so that's
peppermint.
Huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yep. And then thyme supports the immune system, attacks bacteria, fungus, infections, overcomes fatigue, relieves depression. So this not only helps you physically, it helps you mentally. Like Valor, like I told you, is the chiropractor in a bottle. It balances the electrical energies in our body and creates an environment where structural alignment can occur. It's very empowering, and it helps hold memory in our cells. And then Aromaseas relieves tension in muscles from sports, injuries, fatigue, stress, and relieves headaches. So with those 9 oils, look at all of the benefits singularly that they have. All together, wow. So I apply that to the bottoms of your feet because the bottoms of our feet have the most receptors in the feet. And then you do it kind of like they call it a Vita Flex, but it's kind of like reflexology, where along the foot it represents the spine. So even when I'm doing the oils on the feet, a lot of my patients have told me that as I'm applying the oils to the feet, they even feel it already going up their spine, and I haven't even gotten to the spine yet. Mm-hmm. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, outstanding. So just to summarize, we got wintergreen, cypress, basil, oregano, marjoram, peppermint, thyme, Valor, and Aromaseas. And again, Debbie, I love my wife so much, but I have her witty voice in my head again. It just sounds like we're about to, be combined and put in the crock pot here on low for 8 hours. But no, in all seriousness, I can't emphasize and underscore enough exactly what you're saying. There are just tremendous benefits and value, stuff that we really don't even quite understand. I mean, you actually mentioned a little bit of the electromagnetic properties of the oils. Science and biochemistry and phytochemistry aside, there's just so much going on with electromagnetism, physics that we may or may not really understand or be even able to measure at this point. So again, I can't emphasize enough how this is, this can be so significant if you're struggling with any kind of a chronic health issue or you're seeking alternatives, or if you're just looking for, ways to prevent illness and recover from injury, to improve your concentration, to get relief from pain, just elevating that family wellness, which is what we're all about here on the podcast. So, Debbie, the purpose of the Michigan Family Wellness Podcast is to be an audio library resource for the women, mothers, and families who want to learn more about elevating their family wellness and increasing their resiliency, or that strength to adapt to the stress and the challenges in their life. One of the ways we accomplish this is by asking our guests for practical applications. So, Debbie, what can the women, moms, and families listening today start doing to elevate their health and family wellness in the context of our discussion so far?
I believe that if they start using essential oils on a regular basis, that's going to help them tremendously, from using lavender to relax and get better sleep, take care of allergies, to actually getting a raindrop treatment to clean out the junk in your spine and defog your brain. I think all of that, to me, is essential in health. I would rather use an essential oil or go to my chiropractor and get an adjustment than put drugs in my body.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And yes, the caveat with that there, with using the oils, as we've said before, use clean oils, get the therapeutic grade. I don't want this to turn into a discussion on, my dad's better than your dad in terms of branding and all that. But we do just want to advocate, you got to use good, clean oils. And then you got to work with someone like Debbie who knows how to use them in the proper way, in the proper context, because like with anything else, people can really mess themselves up with this, therapeutic grade plant material that we're working with. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
Yep. So, oregano is a great example. You want to put oregano in the right places and use it in the right way. I've heard some crazy stories out there of just people, messing up their sinuses and, getting things in their eyes. And it's like anything else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Some of those can burn.
You really got to be careful. So I just want to communicate that to people with that caveat. Debbie, where can people find more about you?
I'm at balancedlifemassage.studio.com is my website. You can also look for me on Facebook under the Balanced Life Massage Studio. Unfortunately, you have to spell it all entirely out. And then my name is Deborah Diehr, and my last name is Diehr. I am located in Westland, and I rent office space at Life Care at Lillian's, in Lillian's office.
And you bring up a great point there, too, Debbie. I do want to direct people to Michigan Family Wellness Episode 6, where we actually do interview Lillian Easterly-Smith with Life Care. And I highly recommend that episode, especially for the neuro-emotional reflexes, the psychosomatic. Emotional health is such an important component of our health, and so I really recommend people circle back and check out Episode 6 with Lillian, and then Episode 32, where we talk more about the essential oils. Thanks again, Debbie. And if you're listening to this podcast and this message is resonating with you, I want to encourage you to head on over to MichiganFamilyWellness.com, where we'll have a dedicated webpage with all the show notes that we've mentioned here today. Also, you can expand those show notes right now on your mobile device, and you can take advantage of those clickable links. Debbie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
And remember, we can do far more together than we could ever do apart. Coming to you from beautiful Southeast Michigan, I'm your host, Dr. Kyle. And this is Michigan Family Wellness.
Now that you've been equipped with the latest in family wellness solutions, we want to encourage you to apply these strategies right away. But the thing is, there's still so much to learn. Connect with Dr. Wallner's chiropractic and nutrition office by going to MichiganFamilyWellness.com and click the newsletter sign-up button to join the informative and supportive community of chiropractic wellness. You will also receive as a gift from Dr. Wallner a copy of Michigan Family Wellness Solutions, an invaluable resource containing dynamic tools to elevate family health and vitality. Michigan Family Wellness wants to thank you for being part of today's podcast. Please subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and review.